Everybody, and welcome back. I'm Count Christo. This is the wonderful Aurora 4X Let's Play. In the last episode, we gazed into a crystal ball, and we learnt what was coming for us. If you didn't watch that episode, you should, because we actually used our military fleet for the first time, and I discovered that it's very important when using your military to go to the strike force and then click active on to turn on their sensors, because if you don't have their sensors on, they don't really do anything. They don't see the enemy and they can't shoot at the enemy. Now, what we discovered, I think, is two things. Number one, the raiders that will trigger when we discover one more system, because of course we're now back in time before we ran the simulation for the sake of our roleplay. The raiders will attack Sol. In fact, they attacked Sol almost immediately last time. So, we need to prepare for that eventuality. And the second thing we discovered is that the ships that I have designed in order to fight the raiders... well, no, I didn't design these ships to fight raiders. I designed these ships to fight what I expected to meet in the... before we got to the raiders, in the first 19 systems. But we've actually just scouted 19 systems and found precisely nothing. Oh, sorry, I forgot to play the music. There we go. What was I saying? Yeah, so what we actually discovered in the first 19 systems was nothing, and the ships that we built to fight what I expected to find in the first 19 systems are insufficient for that task. Insufficient for the task of fighting raiders. We can fight and beat raiders, to be clear, but they're just not designed to do it. Because this ship is designed to fight a 5,000-ton object. And I should get up my... my Aurora. Where did I save my... Sorry, let me just find this. Aurora 4X Data and Planet Designations sheet. So... Ah, yes, this is quite fun. So here's a sheet that I made earlier. This is for a different campaign. So I know that the Ursa Majoris ones... were able to fire salvos of 91 missiles at 30,000 and some missiles at 70,000 with these size missiles. And I know that these ones are short range and what their current hit rate is against my ships and that kind of thing. And I guess their speed and things like that. So, I'm sorry, I'm just a little nervous that this music is too loud. I ran a test and it didn't seem to be. Do I risk... No, I'm going to turn it down slightly. I apologize if the music is very quiet. I just get very nervous about audio balance, and I can't check. Like, I can't view the first half of this recording without restarting the episode. Anyway, so this is like our data sheet, and right now I'm going to delete it all because we don't know that in this system. We don't know what we're going to face in this game. But so remember, these are our cruisers, and one thing I think I should. They're designed to target this range, but this is for. Like this is these excuse me, these numbers here are things that they're designed to accomplish. So this is the fleet specs. So ideal target size 5,000 tons. And then ideal range is 1010. Is there anything else important about what they're trying to shoot that I should think about? Yeah, I'm not trying to modify it, don't worry. They're using... Yes, they have 100 range boats, 5,000 ton hours. So basically, we discovered that the aliens are running... ships that show up with an active signature size. That's they show up with a when we use our active sensors to try and detect them, they act like they're 800 tons. They're probably not 800 tons, but they have stealth drives, which makes them appear smaller to active sensors. So we need to design a new active sensor and a new missile fire control, which are designed to shoot these small ships. The other thing we learnt is that they appear to be beam weapon only. They didn't fire any missiles at us last time. So I don't know, and I'm not going to check, and please don't tell me in the comments, I'm going to assume that they only have beam weapons, which are very short range. Which means we don't need to engage them at very long ranges, because we also discovered their speed. So let's actually put that in here. So Dark Eldar. We discovered 2 ship classes, right? Highest observed. We need to design ships that are capable of beating their best observed ships. Highest observed speed. And highest observed range. Other notes here. Beam. Oh, it was rail guns, wasn't it? Rail guns only so far. Highest observed speed was about 7,500. Highest observed range was low. It was like 200,000 kilometers. So we need to design a ship that's capable of defeating this entity. Observed size 800 tons. So we need to design a ship that's capable of, at greater than 200,000 kilometers and at greater than 4,500 speed, shooting a target which is 800 tons. So that's what I'm going to try and do now. Let me just put my... Where can I put my spreadsheet? Let me put it over here. This game seriously got me contemplating buying more screens, by the way. It does that to you. Okay, so what we're going to do basically is we're going to carry on. We're not going to explore the 20th system straight away. We're going to carry on heavily investing in getting way more minerals and resources and mining and stuff going. And we're also simultaneously going to work on trying to design probably a new class of ship. But maybe we try and use the cruisers for now, because I don't want to have to build new big shipyards and things. But we're going to try and design an upgrade to our cruisers, which will allow them to shoot at much smaller targets. And we're probably, in the end of the day, going to design patrol ships that are a 3rd class, not cruiser, not destroyer, but patrol ships, with a massively shorter range missile. And probably with much less armor. I feel like an unarmored, shorter range missile boat would actually do really well against the raiders, because if they, as long as we're faster than them, right? So it would be a very fast ship. But as long as we were able to remain outside of their range, we would not have any problem in terms of getting shot at. So you basically don't need any armor. We'll put some on just to be safe, but you basically don't need any armor. And then we can shoot missiles which, by their nature as being much shorter range, can be either much faster or smaller. And if we attack them with smaller, short-range missiles, we'll be able to obliterate them long before their railguns are ever going to be in range. Last night, I'm to take a step back here, last night played this game, right? Met the aliens, realized my design was way off, and I sit down today to play Aurora. I'm so invigorated. Like, I don't know, maybe that makes me a big nerd, but it's so cool to face a new challenge. Like, okay, they're much smaller than we thought. They're much shorter range than I thought they might be. Let's think about how do we design a new ship to counter this threat. It's a really good game. Okay, so step 1, design a active sensor and a missile fire control for a dramatically smaller object. So the resolution should be 800 tons. This is good. This is a very custom. This is an ADA sensor. That is an anti-Dark Eldar sensor. We'll just call it the ADA. And what range do we want? I mean, that's like more than enough. The thing is, I do want to spot them. Okay, I was thinking we don't need very much range, but actually we want serious, significant range, not huge, but serious range on the search sensor, because I want to be able to detect them nice and early, nice and far away. And then we only need a short range on the missile fire control, because we're only going to kill them from quite close range. Good. Good, I think that's the plan. So this sensor, let's still make it quite big. Let's make it 60 million kilometers. It's a 500-ton sensor. to compare that to our old ones, these were also a 500-ton sensor. Okay, so it's the same size sensor. Yeah, let's go with that. So this is the anti-dark elder sensor. Prototype that. And then missile fire control. So we're shooting at a 5,000 ton or larger. We have way too much range. So this is going to be minuscule. Like, I think we shoot them... I mean, that's minimum size right there. It's a 5-ton sensor. Nice. Oh, and I was told that I've only been upgrading active sensor strength. I should also be doing EM sensor strength. These two are mutually beneficial. I've just never upgraded this. That was a big mistake on my part, apparently. So I'm going to switch to doing that. We should also try some electronic hardening. But so yeah, 10. We're gonna go for a 12 million range sensor, which I think is more than enough. Yeah. So this is a ADI well, it's called fire control as well. So they're both being ADA class is fine. So prototype that. And then we need to look into missiles. Oh, so this is what they're using, by the way, these cloaking devices. We don't have the tech, so I can't show you what they do yet, but that's what they're using to look really small, even though they almost certainly are larger than they appear. Now, let's look at the missile optimizer, which goes really weird when I switch it from one screen to the other for some reason. So first off, let me just check these techs are still correct. Excuse me. All right. 8, 100, 0.8, 0.5, 3, none, 1.8, 2.5, 2.5. Active sensor strength 1.8, yeah, 0.01, 0.4, and none. Okay, yes, these are correct. So, this is the ADA, the Anti-Dark Elder missile. So, we only need their target speed right now. Let's say 5,000, because we want to, always presume they're going to get better. Because the Dark Elder do research, by the way. It's as soon as we discover them, that's why I'm a bit hesitant to discover them. As soon as we discover them, it's a race against time. They advance, we advance, they advance, and we have to keep up with them. Desired hit chance is 100. Desired minimum range. So this we're going to go down to 12 million kilometers. Obviously, a huge change there. So if I optimize for that, this generates a very, very, very fast missile. It's maximizing speed. Because engine size is 4.3 out of the 6 missile. So what about if we hit him with just a... Well, okay, no, let's try a smaller missile. What if it was 3? It's still 100% hit chance. What if it was 2.5? Can't work. Oh, no, wait. Can work. There we go. We can do it at 2.5. So maybe we design... Yeah, okay, so we design a new patrol vessel, basically, with much smaller launchers. What if it was 2? Doesn't work. 2.5. Remember, this is still a 9 warhead strength. Very big explosion. This looks good to me. What about 2.4? Yeah, 2.4 still works. .2 does not. So what if they were at the actual observed speed and it was 2.0? Sorry, bring up the simulation. Remind me how fast they were. Let me just grab this. Jarvis, if you could just play back... Shh. Quiet, Christo. If you could just play back that simulation. How fast were the enemy ships? The Aberration, that was their commercial one, I'm pretty sure. God, my chin is off the bottom of the frame. This is why I need to remember to sit up. It's a good thing, though. The chin occasionally being off the bottom of the frame is a good thing, because it reminds me that I need to keep my posture good. Alright. So they were... Yeah, the Aberration is the huge one. They go at 2,000. Adjudicator, these are the worrying ones. Where did they come from? What was their pace before I killed them? Well, those are going at 2,000, but that's because they're escorting... there we go. Maximum reserve speed, 4.523. Okay. It's worth noting that that number might change. Because I think when you discover them, they get a certain amount of tech, like similar to your own level, but we'll see. So we're going to assume, what did I say, 4.5? So we'll assume 4,600 speed. No desired here. What if they only had to go 10 million kilometers? No solution. What if you had 2.2? Yeah, it can do it at 2.2. I'd like a 2-size missile. 2.2 is just kind of... It's a bit janky, you know? Maximizing speed. Isn't maximizing accuracy... Oh, this just gives you, like, yeah, how fast it can hit. And then range. Expected damage. We'll just go with accuracy. Speed, yeah. So... What if I allowed it to be 5 warhead strength? I mean, then you could do it easily, right? Yeah, fairly easily. How much agility is it giving this missile? None. I suppose I should maximize expected damage. Because otherwise it's going to give it no agility, which means it will actually have a lower chance to hit than we think. So yeah, we'll give it that. What does try all WH mean? I don't know. But can you do a 9? Yeah, so at 9, we're down to an 80% chance to hit at 5 kilometers. So we'll have slightly less than 100% chance to hit if we maximize for 9. But we can do a 9 with some agility and stuff. Missile has a flight time of 10 minutes. Range of 10 million kilometers. Yeah, I think this is what we're going to do. That's the missile I want. No, don't load previous. This is a new missile. This is the Ada missile. This is the Ada Anti-Dark Eldar AS missile. Missile has 2 eyes, but 2 S's as well. Sorry, I have a new keyboard. Typing is a little funky. So the warhead strength is... Where did it put that? Warhead strength 1.125. Fuel capacity is going to be low, 0.1049. Agility is 0.2701. Engine power is real high. And the engine size is 0.5. Alright, these numbers look the same. Good. So this is the Ada anti-ship missile. I guess I shouldn't say ASM missile, should I? Because it's like saying ATM machine. Okay. This looks good to me. For some reason, my calculator thinks its development cost will be higher. Not sure what's causing that deviation. Everything else looks right, though. The Galasite cost, the fuel cost, the tritanium cost is all the same. Here it is. The Anti-Dark Eldar missile. Looks good to me. So now we need a new class. And maybe we try and build it in the same yards as the Acasta. Let's try and base it off the Acasta and just see if that works. So it doesn't need Gauss cannons. We're not going to build many of these ships. We'll just have a couple, because the idea is they operate entirely independently. Let's call it... I know this isn't what Liberty ships were, but we're going to call it the Liberty ship. Oh, I renamed a component by mistake. Rename class. No, I'm not going to call it the Liberty ship. What was a... What's a good name for this? We should make it a new class as well. This is a... Okay, yeah, good. Destroyer escort, because if we're going to try and build them out of the same yards. And go massively slower than this. We're not going to be able to build it out of the same yards. But it should probably still be called a destroyer escort. Well, the name's not that important. We can get a name later. This is a Ada class destroyer escort. And you don't need a beam fire control. You need an anti-Dark Eldar active search sensor and a anti-Dark Eldar missile fire control. And the search sensor has here 60,000. And it doesn't need that, and it does need... Right, I need to design the missile launcher to fire a size 2 missile. Missile launcher. Launcher for size 2 missiles. Right, and people talked about reload rate. Oh, reload rate doesn't increase the size. Oh, that's right, it's just the RP cost. It's here you do it. So people pointed out, you usually don't want... I mean, there are situations where you want to fire like massed waves of fire. But generally speaking, I don't want to shoot very many times in a row. You tend to shoot once and then cease fire and wait for your missiles to hit and see what happens. So, we could make it tiny. Like 100 times reload. Maybe not quite 100 times. 20 times reload. Yeah, it's a nice size reduction. We can also do no internal reload. Make them real small. Note the box launchers are not affected by increases in reload technology, only reloaded in hangar deck or at maintenance facilities. Yes, we definitely don't want that. So this 710 means we can fire slightly less often than our missiles take to fly. So they take 10 minutes to fly, and we can reload every, you know, whatever this is, 11 and a half minutes. Almost 12 minutes. I think that's okay. Like, it's small. We can put a lot of these on our ships. We can fire absolute barrages of these missiles. Okay, prototype that. And so, remember this ship... Okay, so I have just thought of a problem, though. These ships are going to be designed to protect things like freighters. The freighters currently go slower than the Dark Eldar. I could try and make my freighters faster than the Dark Eldar. Meaning they can just get away every time. But that would be very expensive. With 10 million, we can see them at 60 million. So the idea is you see them at 60 million, you move towards them. I need to draw. So let's envisage the situation. Our freighters are here. Freighter fleet. And it's happily heading towards Sol to drop off its resources. It has with it some, let's say 3, destroyer escorts. Then, out of nowhere, bing, a hit on the sensors. The Dark Eldar are detected. The idea is you detect them at 60 million. And they can close on you at 5k, right? You detect them at 50 million. This is kilometers per second. You detect them at 60 million kilometers. So they're coming in, and then basically the destroyer escorts detach from the freighters and move to intercept. And they're moving at what's a good speed? I mean, probably like 8 kilometers per second. So we can easily outpace the Dark Eldar. Even if they tech up once, we can probably still outpace them. And then we can, you know, adjust accordingly. So we move away. And then once we're within... once our destroyer escort fleet is within 11 million kilometers, then we engage and destroy them before they ever get near the freighters. And because we're seeing them at 60 and engaging at 11, we have 49 to, you know, distance between the enemy and the freighters. So they never get that close to the freighters. So it doesn't matter that the freighters are faster because we're moving, engaging, destroying, moving back to the freighters. That's the battle plan. I'm going to save that. Is there anything outrageous in that screenshot in that save pictures file I accidentally saved? A ball hotel booking confirmation. No, that's all right. Okay, so good. Yeah, I think that works. So now the question is how many missile launchers we put on these things and how many magazines. Maybe I don't slow them down. Maybe them being super fast is good. Let's see if I can build Miniacasters if I don't slow them down. I suspect I can't. Just got the... Whoops, I just took the jump drive off. Don't do that. Well, actually, Destroyer Escorts don't need jump drives, I've just realized. Because they're only designed to escort freighters, and my freighters don't have jump drives. Nice. Okay, that's going to save so much space. Well, they're definitely not going to be compatible with the Acasters then. I still want to have all these special things on here. Yeah, and they don't need as much. I'm going to make their armor thin. Actually, that saves so little mass. We might keep it a bit higher. But yeah, they shouldn't ever be shot. If they're shot, they're going to die. Because their reload speed is so low. So actually give them 1 armor. These ships are designed to be cheap, mass producible, just to go and defend destroyers. And they need to have a really long deployment time. Like 2 years. Because otherwise, you know, every so often we're going to have to bring them back to base, have them refit. What's it called? What's the phrase I'm looking for? Overhaul. So maybe we make it more than that, actually. Maybe we make it 4 years. Because every 4 years, we'll probably have like some tech upgrades we want to put on them anyway. Okay, so these are way faster than they need to be right now. Let's put everything else on, then worry about the engines, though. So they want the missile launchers. They're so small. So we can put... I did make this a multi-weapon missile fire control, right? Yes, that's only a thing on laser fire controls. Let me just... Beam fire control. Yeah, okay. This is... I mean, we could put 20 missile launchers on this thing. The thing is, one problem. I don't know how many missiles I need to defeat the enemy. Last time, I think we hit them with... What did I hit them with? I think we hit them with 5 waves of 8. And they shot down about half. So, but that was a fleet of 5 enemy vessels. But they're so small. So what if I put 40 missile launchers on this bad boy? The difference between a 2 and a 6 missile launcher is kind of crazy. This looks good to me. Okay, so now it needs a maintenance life that actually survives. Well, it needs an engine. How big do I want this ship to be? Maybe 10,000 would be a good number, but even smaller would be better. Let's look at what we can do with engines here. What kind of engine power do we want? Well, let me check. If I put a... Yeah, I mean, I could put a commercial drive on this thing. And it would go fast enough. What speed was I targeting? 8. Because the engine being commercial would make it much cheaper. Because when we put on one of these bad boys, it like doubles the build time. And they're much bigger. So what about... Why is this still a military... Oh, it has to be bigger to be a non-military, doesn't it? So what do we want? We want... This is a 2,000 engine power drive that weighs 12,000... Oh, this is a 12,000 ton engine. Yeah, no wonder it was quite slow. So what if we made it... Because remember, the range on this bad boy has to be about the same as a freighter. Which right now we're rocking 51 billion kilometer ranges on. So we're going to take some of these bad boys off. If it was running the commercial, just as a baseline, it's got plenty of range. So what if it was running a 75 one? And we give it... Like, how big is this getting? 4,000 tons? Yeah, what if we give it 1,000 engine power? Prototype that. Dung, dung, dung. going 5,800 now at 8,000 tons. Let's give it 10,000 tons. So it's a bit bigger. Prototype that. And throw that on. Now we're going 6,000 kilometers. And we have some room left for the magazine. Now the missiles are size 2, but we want it to have a lot of missiles. It doesn't need 500 missiles though, surely. These magazines are too big. How many volleys does this thing need to be able to fire? It took about 80 missiles to kill one of the ships in the last one. I should compare my missiles. How come I can't load previous? I guess I haven't invented it. I think 6,000 is sufficient speed. So magazines... Like, ideally, I just want one of these ships per convoy. So let's make a... And the maintenance life has gone way down now, yeah, so... Need to put a bunch more engineering spaces and large maintenance storage bays. Let's take off all these nonsense ones. Okay. I can't remember what the correct ratio from engineering spaces to maintenance storage bays is. I bet the ship optimizer will tell me. Ship optimizer. Ship parameters. Desired tonnage, 10,000. Desired speed. Oh, I forgot we can just do this. It's so cool. Okay, desired speed. Let's say at 8,000, see what it spits out. Maximum engine plus fuel. Right now we're using about half, right? Yeah, half. Desired engine type. No limit. What are compressed fuel tanks? I don't know. Ah, we can go through... we can see like how far down the tech tree we're like halfway, but they get exponentially more expensive. Where do I see these? Hopefully it saves these things. It did first for missile planners. Max engine power boost, we got the full one. Max engine size... 250? Yep, 250. Fuel efficiency, we're down to 0.5. Armor strength, we're up to laminate composite. Jump drive efficiency is not really relevant right now, so don't worry about it. Max squad size, not relevant, not relevant, not relevant, not relevant, not relevant. Okay. Max engines, we'll just give it 1. Desired range in billion kilometers, 50. Optimizing available space or batch space. So if you optimize for that, it tells you you can get 8,000 with a 69 size engine. Optimal power boost of 145%. Interesting. With 1 million liters of fuel in it. This is one of the problems of these ships. I'm going to suddenly start burning huge quantities of fuel. So where does it tell me like what it's put on the ship? I guess these are the things it's put on the ship. What is that? Fuel tank combinations to achieve the 5 fuel amount. Oh, cool. Okay, so here we go. Oh, this is a great tool. I've never used this before for ship optimization. So it tells us what it's done is it's using this much fuel, this type of engine with 1 engine. And what if I put 2 engines on? No feasible solution found. Yeah, just use 1. It tells us that it's used, either it's used or it's got free this percent of the ship. Available tonnage. Yeah, okay, so it says I can put an engine on here, which will leave me with 5,211 tons, but I'm going to have to burn a lot of fuel. So what would that engine look like? It's a magnetoplasma drive. It's 69 size. Perfect. It's got engine power of 45. 1,600 engine power. Is that what I was expecting? Yeah, and this is only a 3,000 ton engine now. It's just because we're using a lot more fuel, basically. Uses... Well, let's just prototype it and have a look here. Put that on. We're much faster, which means we're more future-proofed if the aliens get faster. And that leaves us with lots of space to put on more engineering stuff. Can I calculate, like... I don't think I can calculate engineering spaces, like how much engineering spaces you put on. I should just, you know what I should do? I should just Google it. Aurora 4X, optimum engineering spaces versus maintenance storage ratio. Inspired by recent posts, I decided to investigate more carefully the question of how much maintenance storage should be used, if any. If any. I took a ship to go with my current design and systematically varied it. Okay. Values will vary greatly depending on your ship design, its size, deployment time, max repair. They suggest that if your goal is only to maximize deployment time, then an engineering maintenance to maintenance ratio of 6:4 or 7:3 may be ideal. Okay. Okay. We're looking for about a 6:4 between engineering to maintenance. Thank you, dear. Oh, I should have thanked them. That was on the Aurora Forest forums. Say thanks. Very good post. Thank you. So we want to go to about a 6:4. Engineering to maintenance. Was it engineering to maintenance or maintenance to engineering? Let me just check one more time. Engineering to maintenance. Okay. 6:4. So we'll go to 10. 10.6. Close enough. That gives us 11 years. Okay, and now we still have 400 space for a magazine. Which I think we should just use all of, right? Basically. So that's not actually that big of a magazine. That's our problem. It's going to be the magazine. Maybe we start having... We build a commercial... We have a commercial coiler, right? Yeah, the Agincourt. Which has a 4,000 size magazine. Insufficient range for this, though. Maybe we design a destroyer escort coiler, which is a special ship which flies with the destroyer escort and just has a big magazine on it. A commercial ship. That seems good, right? Save us having a huge magazine on this. That seems appropriate to me. So let's look at this thing as we've designed it then. It would have I can actually only have a 400-ton magazine on it, which is 147. So I can only fire like 3 waves of missiles. It's kind of low, right? I could cut back on the engineering spaces a little. Hang on, maintenance life 10 years? What am I doing? We've got a deployment time of 4 years. Am I an idiot? Don't answer that. Okay. Reduce the engineering space down to 6. I've got 7 years. We do want this substantially higher than the deployment time, but... And it's dramatically faster than it had to be for this task. Its range is a little low. Ah, because I haven't put the fuel on it yet. Put a very large on, take one of these off, take one of these off, take one of these off. 41 billion, so add a large pack. There we go. 50 billion is plenty. $50 billion is way more than plenty, actually, now I think about it, but it's okay. So it's burning 1.2 million liters every 2 months. That's quite a lot. How much fuel are we making right now? 70 million liters annually. Which means, if I divide that into monthly amounts, and it's running for 2 months, well, actually, if we divide it into daily amounts, Serious question. And I know I'm quite clever on some things. And I'm quite done on other things. Are there 364 or 365 days in a year? It's 365. Divided by 365. So that's how much fuel we make per day. Which means if we times that up by 67, which is the number of days. So this thing burns... So in 67 days, we make 12 million litres of fuel. This thing would burn 1. So our entire fuel production right now could handle 12 of these things existing. And these are things that fly around all the time. That's bad. We want more than that. So I'm going to go back to the ship optimizer. And I'm going to say desired speed, let's cut that down to 6,000. And what is my freighter range is 5 billion. But what are my freighters actually doing, realistically? Like, let's say I wanted my freighter... Who have I got on Earth right now? Like, let's say I told the Earth shipyards to go to the furthest system from Earth, Ross, and then come back. That's only 10 billion. So 50 billion is excessive. Quite dramatically excessive range. So let's cut that down to 25 billion range. Now we can save so much more space. 25 billion is sufficient because remember, it can refuel. You know, it's going with freighters. It can refuel every time it goes back to a hub. Okay, so new. Well, if we're cutting the range, maybe I keep some of the speed. Let's go 7,000 speed. We still get 62% of the ship available rather than 52, which is a nice improvement. So go back to engines. We are putting... Where's the boost? Where's it gone? Actual tonnage, engine speed, engine boost 1.6. Fuel consumption, obviously that. And the size, 55. So a smaller engine, obviously, because we're going slower. It should be using 0.69, 0.69, yes. So this is what I think we'll use. Prototype that. Take off that one. Throw on this one. Okay, so now we're going... Well, yeah, it will be slower once we make the ship bigger. Needs more maintenance stuff. What do we say? 6 to 4. And these are large. I didn't check on that ratio. When he says like 6 to 4, presumably he means in engine size. Maintenance tonnage, 18 months variable. Yes, it's maintenance tonnage versus engineering tonnage that he was looking at. Okay, so what is the tonnage of a large maintenance storage bay? 250. And the tonnage of an engineering space? 50. Okay, so we want wildly more engineering spaces. So if we put 20 of these, that's 1,000 tons. And then, so for 1,000, we want to put... How much are these again? We want to put, you know, about 7,000... 1,000... You know what? Let's make it easier for myself. What's 16 times 50? Yeah, 800. So we're going for a ratio of... We want about... We're going for 6 to 4, right? Okay, so what's 80? Well, that's 800 divided by 6 times 4. 533. So, 2 500s. And now it's already too much. So, take off one of them. And take off a bunch of these. Go down to 400. In which case we want 400 divided by 6 times 4. About 250. Maintenance life 4 years, deployment time... Sorry, maintenance life 6 years, deployment time 4 years. Good balance. Good balance, I like it. And now we can afford a much larger magazine. we can put a 2,000-ton magazine on this bad boy. Ideally, I want to hold a multiple of 40, which is kind of hard. 680, a multiple of 40? Yeah. Okay. How many was that? 17. So this is 17 volleys. It's a hell of a lot more than we had before. So put that magazine on it. Maintenance life came down a lot with that. Let's put a little bit more maintenance on it. The other thing actually is I should probably go heavier on engineering spaces because we're not going for just optimum deployment time. We also want to use as little maintenance supply points as possible. Am I missing anything? I don't think so. Well, actually, maybe we should put a tiny cryo transport on it so that it can rescue the crew of freighters that are destroyed by the aliens. I don't think we need to do that. And we just don't lose freighters. Forehead. I like this. How much could it cost to give me another layer of armor? Just to give it a little bit of extra. Yeah, not really gonna happen. I think this looks pretty good. It's got more range than it needs, right? Yeah, I can take off one of these. And now I can probably give it another layer of armor. Having just 2 layers of armor is not nothing. And then I take off a tiny bit of the engineering spaces to make it fit. And we put on some small engineering spaces. It just doesn't fit. Tiny. What did I just add? It was fuel storage, is not what I meant to add. Engineering spaces. What did I just do? Oh, I took off the large fuel storage. It should be a very large fuel storage, right? Yeah. Maintenance storage. Fighter maintenance storage. Just put a bunch of those on. Okay, it's got 3 layers of armor. Better than nothing. It's got a 5-year maintenance life. It's got a 4-year deployment time. It goes 7,000 kilometers a second. And it can fire a wave of 40 missiles, size 2, every 710 seconds. It has an active search sensor. It has a missile fire control, range 12 million kilometers. Was 12 million what I went with for the missile? No, we ended up going with 10 million on the missile. So maybe I should shorten... No. Because electronic warfare shortens the range of your fire control, but does not shorten the range of your missile, I believe. So having your fire control a bit more than your missile is good. Because if we got a 20% reduction, we would lose 2 million range on the fire control, but the missile would still be at maximum range. It is a 10,000 class, 10,000 range destroyer. What am I missing? I think it looks good to me. Yeah, it has a bridge, auxiliary, engineering, and CIC. This looks right to me. Okay, let me... obsolete components. Not that one, that's the one we're using. Obsolete components. Just obsoleting some of the things we researched that we didn't want in the end. Oh wait, this still has the wrong magazine. No, it doesn't. That's the right magazine. Okay. Do I still... So how many waves... This one fires 17 waves of missiles. Do I still send it with a coiler? How fast is my coiler? Not very, right? Yeah. Maybe instead of sending it with a coiler, I build a comically fast coiler. Like, what if... Hear me out here. What if we had a 40,000 ton coiler? No, this is silly. What if we had a comically fast coiler who could be like, oh crap, my ship 40 billion kilometers away ran out of ammunition. Don't worry, boss. I'll be there in a second. Like, imagine. Look at this engine. The thing is, it would still take quite a long time to get there. Well, not that long. I could send it 10 billion kilometers in 9 days. I think we're going to go with no escort coiler for now. Because worst case scenario, the destroyer escort gets away. And the convoy is lost. And we know that we need to build a coiler for next time. Now, this one is burning more fuel. It's burning 1 million every 42 days. So we still can't build many of these. Wasn't I trying to gain fuel? Wasn't that the whole point of my optimization just then? I was trying to optimize for using less fuel. Damn. That's not quite what I accomplished. We're now using like 50% more fuel. Okay, but I think we just need a lot more fuel harvesters, basically. Because like we have god almighty quantities of thorium available. Like we have tens of millions of thorium, right? Am I crazy on that? No, we have hundreds of millions of thorium. Hundreds of million of thorium. Hundreds of millions of thorium? Yes, that's right. So we're confused about the pluralization for a second there. All right, forget this. This is a silly component. Looks good to me. The Ada class destroyer escort, a 10,000 ton vessel, which takes 1.09 years to build, deployment time 4 years, small amount of armor, goes super fast when it needs to. When a ship flies at less than its full speed, does it use less fuel? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. So now, we keep playing. That was a fun 52-minute ship design thing. And when some of these techs finish, I reassign them to invent the components of that vessel. But in the meantime, I should save. First off, after doing all of that. And then let's press on. I should also take a quick look at some of these charts. Wealth looks a little questionable. Fuel looks okay. Oh, and I think I've confused it. I've confused it by reverting a save. Now, these lines aren't doubled, but the wealth line is actually doubled. Oh well, not a big deal. Alright, first off, just check. Are all my fleets doing something? Yes. Yes. Good. Okay. Rock and roll. Alright, these guys are not capable of doing things, but that's fine. Gong Gong is still being terraformed. How goes the Gong Gong terraforming? Up to 1 atmosphere now. Up to 2.1. Okay, so only go to 1.5. I'm very curious about when this reaches 3. But yeah, lowering the temperature there is going to give us more room for people. And we're just waiting for the Oxfords to all be done. Changing dominant terrain on Ganymede. Nice. Ganymede is the one doing the slow terraforming. So it's going to be too much. 1.4 or so. Maintenance deploy. Maintenance problem on those. No problem. Orders not possible. Still only 4 of them. I'm working for 6. Corgi has come home. Good. Ding, ding, dung. God, what is going on in Sirius? Why are 4 of them doing it, but the others not? They're just taking a long time. Fair enough. One of them's done. And the other's done. Okay, Sirius is now geosurveyed. Let's take a look at where we still have to geosurvey. And then I think what I'm going to do is auto-route them each to different ones. So Ursa Minoris, sorry, one goes there. Beta Antilli, one goes there. Leonus, one goes there. How do you say this? I think I got this confused the other way as well. Procicon or Procyon? Maybe Procyon. YZ Zeti. And you can go to Beta Antilli as well. Good. So now our ships are going to spread out to all these different unsurveyed places and get them surveyed. Target 1.4 actually. Well, we want to figure out what the maximum atmosphere is. Okay. And there they're all rushing in towards the jump points and leaping out to their tasks. Excellent. Now the major problem with the deployment's only at pretty low. Bit of new corundium. Nice. Production of mines and the deep space tracking station. So we don't really need the deep space tracking stations as much as I thought, I guess. Because I think what we're going to do... So these destroyer escorts. That's something I haven't thought of, actually. The destroyer escorts are not all we need. We also need a ground-based planet-to-space missile launcher, which can defend my colonies even when there isn't a convoy nearby. Yes. Yes, that would be good. So let's say the enemy is flying at 4,600 kilometers per second, and we detect them. We're able to begin shooting at them at 10 million kilometers away. They're going this fast. We have 212 seconds to shoot them down before they arrive at my planet and start wreaking havoc. That means I could fire one volley from the ground, because our things take 600 seconds to reload. So we need a new missile launcher. What if instead we had a ground-based missile launcher which could fire dramatically more often? Well, if it's a ground-based missile, we don't need to worry about size, actually, do we? So what if we were shooting them at 60 million? Oh, let's build the ship first, and then let's worry about building some ground-based defenses as well. Because we need both ships to defend our colonies and ground-based ones. Because the ground-based ones... I've never used ground-based missile launchers, by the way, so I'm very excited about that. It's STOs, I think they're called. What do you do it? Where do you do this from? I forget. Here, yeah. Okay, so you do static... You use surface to orbit weapon. What is this? The Liberty ship weapon type. Did I rename a weapon to the Liberty ship by mistake? I did. My Gauss cannon is now called the Liberty ship. That is not what I meant to do. What have I done? The Liberty ship. No, this is the quad Gauss R400. Rename component. This is a quad Gauss R400s, 100s turret. Okay. Refresh this for me. Refresh this for me. Unit class design, static, surface to orbit. Yeah. So we will invent... Hang on, can I not put missile launchers here? Maybe it needs medium static armor. Can't I make ground-based missile launchers? Aurora 4X static missile launcher. Aurora 4X STO design. So, Aurora 4X STO missile. STO missiles. I had a brilliant idea trying to build ICBM missiles using the STO component on static, except I can't seem to mount a missile launcher. There are currently no missiles for surface to orbits. Damn. Which makes sense, because as someone points out in this thread, trying to launch missiles out of the bottom of a gravity well is tiresome. Okay, so new plan. We need a military space station. We could also do these Gauss cannon things. Like, what if I just put one of these Gauss turrets? We redesigned the Gauss turrets slightly, so they have longer range. And we just built a bunch of them. And put them on the surface of planets. And then when something comes in range, you just fill it. Just a hail of Gauss fire obliterates it. That would be fun. But I guess the new plan will be... copy class. It'll be a no engine. We'll need to invent a tug as well. And it will have armor. A lot of armor. And it'll have a bunch of missile launchers. But it won't have engines. And we'll just drag it into orbit around a planet and then leave it there. Yeah. God, that's going to be fun. Awesome. Awesome game. All right. So the deep space tracking stations, we don't actually need them as much as I thought, but let's build them anyway, because they don't cost that much. Go. Did I see the population on Earth is at 3 billion? Stop the thing. Wasn't it at 4 a minute ago? Is it because I've moved them all to Lunar and Mars? Probably is. Oh crap, the growth rate on Lunar is now lower than Earth. Source of colonists. Stop getting colonists from Luna. From Earth to Luna. But keep taking them to Mars, because Mars is still at 2.8%. I guess because Luna is now at a higher proportion of its maximum carrying capacity, which is this value here. Okay, I think we're good. I know I have no sector governor, by the way. The automation seems to keep unassigning them. I'm just not going to worry about it. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, so we're going to build... It is decided then. We're going to build some destroyer escorts and some... what do you call it? Basically missile bases. Missile stations. Which is good because you can make them big. Also, hang on, isn't there a... Yeah, you can build space stations here. How do you do that? You have to like designate them a spaceship or something. Like if I copy this cruiser, isn't there a checkbox where I can designate it a station? And it needs to have no engine. How do I do it? Does it have to have 0 armor? Can't set it to 0 armor. No armor? That? Okay, no armor classifies it as a space station. Can I give it an armor rating? Okay, so I could have a defenseless space station, or a ship that's technically not a space station, acting like a space station. And the advantage of it being a space station is I can build it with industry, not shipyards. This is classed as a commercial vessel. Presumably if I put a missile fire control and a missile launcher on it, that changes. No? Oh, I can't put a missile launcher on it. Okay. Space station is a no-go. Okay. So what are space stations for? I think space stations are for living on. Like you put ARC modules on them and then they can house people. Anyway. As you were. Oh no, sorry, the jump gate ship 2 has finished. Where are my other jump ships right now? One is in microscopy, one is in... any in... Lacti, you're stabilizing... That one... No one's in Yeti. Or SETI, rather. You go over to Ross. And stabilize the jump gates there. Then transit through and stabilize the jump gate back. Good. Okay. Well, I think this was a very productive episode. Ooh, a new jump gate. A new jump point, rather. This is a very productive episode. We have decided on our basic strategy. It's going to be technically warships. And remember, those warships that I build... Well, the problem... I keep thinking of problems. Let's try and design that warship now. Like, it would need to have... Basically, you don't worry about deployment time. Because it's designed to be in orbit over a planet. And what you do is you have a population on that planet, meaning the ship, which we're acting like a station, just kind of lives there. And it gets all its... we could put a recreational module on it. No, that's what you do. You build a recreational module, because if we make this no armor, then we put a recreational module on it. This becomes... Yeah, it's a recreational ship, which means if there's ships near this, then deployment time doesn't increase. Or you just have to have a sufficient population on all the planets you want to defend. But that's a little cumbersome, because we'll want to defend our, like, 500 auto miners as well. Although I don't know if the aliens go for auto miners. I think they try and abduct pops, not installations. Anyway, take the recreational module off. The problem will be, let's say we put a bunch of missiles on it. Like, you know, a huge number of missiles. Now... Oh, wait, the maintenance life is not that bad, actually. That's got quite a lot of maintenance storage on it, though. But the thing is, we need it to be able to live there forever, so... What we could do is have each of the planets we want to defend... Yeah, I think we do use so we have a space station, which is an actual space station, which has a recreational module and a maintenance module, which I don't know if we've invented yet. Logistics. Yeah, a maintenance module. A ship component is added to the total maintenance facilities operation if the ship is near the same planet or in near orbit. Yeah, so we put a maintenance module and a recreational module on a space station. Then we put the space station in orbit around the planet we want to defend. Then we put the warships next to the space station, which means they don't need big deployment time and big maintenance clocks. I think that's the plan. But we're gonna build the other ship first anyway. But anyway, that's all going to happen in the next episode. Well, it won't. It'll be several episodes probably, but that's what we're going to be working on as we move into the next episode. Until then, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.